Welcome back to the So Far So Good podcast. My name is Christopher Coombs.
And my name is Gaurav Khazanchi. Welcome back to the So Far So Good podcast.
Thank you all for tuning in once again. We can hear your smiling voices as usual.
Exactly.
Now, as usual, we'll start it off with our introductory questions. So I'll hit you up first with this bad boy.
Done deal.
So the question is, if you saw yourself in the street, how would you react? Now, it could just be like someone who looks literally exactly the same as you, or it could even be a clone of you.
Okay.
You don't know. But how do you think you would react if you were just walking down the street and saw yourself walking towards you?
So in this situation, I definitely recognize myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was the first thing. I
know, a lot of people say, if you see yourself in real life, you wouldn't recognize. I reckon that's BS.
But it's even...
You know what you look like.
It's even when people say, look, you look like this guy, and then you look and you're like, that's not what I look like, but they are full on, you look like this guy, and then you just can't see it.
Yeah, I get that, but if it's actually a clone of yourself, let's say,
okay.
you would recognize it,
All right.
surely.
So I've recognized, man, I would be just straight shocked, firstly. And then I would just ask him, why are you doing this? Why? I would just be like, dude, just be your own person. Stop trying to be me.
But what if you're trying to be like him?
No, because if he's a clone of me, then that means I came first.
But what if you're the clone of him?
No.
Without realizing.
Your wording specifically.
No. I said it could be a clone.
Okay.
Or it could just be a person that looks exactly the same.
Well, then I will still be adamant. And, there's just that. There'll be an immediate... Or...
So you would ask the guy, why aren't you your own person?
No. Or if I don't do that, I'll team up and then we'll just mess with people. There's so many options.
Yeah, true.
There's
That
so
would
many
be
options.
kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. But then the guy has to be down. But in this, if he is a clone of me, and let's just say his brain thinking and personality is the same, he would have the exact same ideas as well then. So,
Yeah.
really, we'll just be saying the same things over and over again.
Imagine you asked each other the same question at the same time.
Yeah. Like, we're both like, why aren't you your own person? At the same time. And
Or
then,
exception.
yeah, that's just that's how it is. How would you react?
Yeah. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I probably wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
I just, let's say I was walking down the street with you, I'd be like, dude, does that guy look like me or is it just me?
But
That's
I feel
probably
like...
all I would do.
I mean, I did show you a photo of this guy I bumped to in Portugal.
Yeah, he resembles me, but he's not like an exact, you know what I mean?
At a glance, you're like, yeah, that's Chris. But when you look deeper, it's not you.
Yeah,
You know what? I
True.
reckon we'll post the photo on the So Far So Good podcast Instagram.
Nah.
It was... I'll just got to tell this quick story. So
he is the budget version, so I wouldn't mind the photo going.
I'll call him Budget Chris, but the resemblance is so close.
I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before.
I don't think we have, but...
Just quickly run through what actually happened.
I was in Portugal, I was with my sister, and then we were at this famous rooftop bar where everyone goes to see the sunset. And we're there, we're just chatting to people, having some drinks. And then I see the back of this guy's head. I'm like, that's a very... the back of that head is so familiar.
Really? The back of the head?
The back of his head, and then every now and then he'd look to the side, and then I'd see his profile, and I'm like, my God, that is Chris. Except in this scenario, you still had long hair, and this guy had short hair.
Right.
But his short hair looked like your hair when it was short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
So then I tapped him on the shoulder, because I couldn't let this moment go. I'm in the other side of the world, and there's a Budget Christopher. So I tap him on the shoulder, and he's got like a British accent. And I'm like, man, I'm so sorry, but can I take a photo with you? You look exactly like my friend. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure, man. I get that a lot. Meaning there are other Budget Christophers around the world.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, then I took this photo of him. Even his dress style was the same as yours. Took this photo, and it's been one of my favourites ever since.
Well, I guess if there is that many Budget Chris's around, I wonder if I'm still the top version of all of them.
Well, in our minds, you are. Because you wouldn't refer to yourself as a budget person X.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're calling me like a budget Chris Hemsworth. then I'll take that.
I never said budget Chris. I said budget
I'll take
Chris
that, though.
next. All right. That's all right. Okay. On a similar topic to looks, have you ever been scared to look in a mirror because of creepy stories or scary movies?
Yeah, mostly only at nighttime, though.
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely... Like, I might have watched something recently, then woke up in the middle of the night, gone to the toilet, and I don't want to look in the mirror in case, like, you know,
in case
your eyes look freaky or something.
Yeah, or if your reflection does something different to what you're doing.
Oh, I haven't even thought about that. I normally think about if I look and then something behind me happens and I see it in the mirror.
No,
I never think of myself doing something different.
Because there's like scary things. It's all probably fake. And then it's the person is doing something and then they look away from the mirror, but the reflection in the mirror is still staring back at them.
Oh, yeah.
So
I've seen a few TikTok videos like that.
Oh, like... that are meant to be funny, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
But similar situation. I'm in the bathroom and I'm giving my reflection the side eye because I don't want to look properly, but I also want to make sure the mirror is working fine.
That's creepy, man.
I'm over it now.
But you know what I was thinking of? On the whole TikTok thing,
yeah.
If you had like a clone of you or someone who looked like literally exactly the same,
yeah,
you guys could like make videos together and not have to bother with the camera effects.
That's true. You wouldn't need a mirror to make that mirror prank.
And you wouldn't need to do all the specific editing that is involved in all of it.
Yeah, that's true.
You could just film it as if you're the same person in the same clothes.
I'm telling you, man, the options are endless. It's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
So I hope it happens.
And you could work half the week. Like, you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The other person works Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, hoping that the skills are the same as well. So.
Well, if you're a clone, specifically, you
if you're-
should have the same skills.
If everything is a carbon copy, then you're right. You're right.
I wonder if you'd be able to... Like, let's say you worked on something on Tuesday.
Yeah.
If your clone goes to work on Friday, will he know what's going on?
Yeah.
Because what if the manager asks, oh... You know, have you continued this task? You're like, whoops.
Yeah. But it'd just be something no one would figure out. There's two of you. You wouldn't figure it out. There's so many options, man. There's so many options.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. So far,
so good.
So once again, thank you all for tuning into the So Far, So Good podcast. Now, just touching on something we spoke about last week was the Uber driver from hell.
Yeah.
We did call it the Uber from hell.
Not the driver from hell. Because, as we said, the driver was a nice guy, probably from heaven. But the ride and the experience itself was pretty...
It was good, but I guess the hell portion came from the driver. So
that's true. It's
in a way,
contradicting.
You could say both.
You could.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
The devil can be a nice guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, following on from that talk last week, it's been a week. I have finally, I think, calmed down, and I think I've, regained my saneness, if that's a word.
Sanity?
Sanity, yeah.
Yeah,
gained my sanity.
Same thing.
So we're here to move on.
So do you think you've gotten up to the part of Show X that the driver had talked about?
Well, yeah, since last week, I've actually fully completed Show X.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
absolutely smashed it.
So you've definitely seen.
So I've seen the spoiler. I don't want to give anything away. I'm really trying to avoid that happening.
All right, to
unlike
avoid it,
the Uber driver.
I'll ask you a couple questions. Was there any suspense remaining?
There still was some suspense because multiple things happened to this character.
Yeah.
But the weirdest thing was the character didn't actually die. I hope no one knows what show it is, but let's just roll with it.
I don't think anyone's figured it out yet.
Yeah, all right. So the character doesn't actually die until the second last episode.
Okay.
So when the Uber driver said, was it character A?
Character B. Character B.
So when the Uber driver said, is character B still there? Well, I mean, technically, the character
Yeah.
stays there until the second last episode. So it was actually a stupid spoiler in the end.
But it also makes it that much worse because you had told him that you were in the middle of season 2. And he would for a fact know, because I for a fact knew that that doesn't happen until pretty much the very end of the whole show.
Unless he was psychologically trying to get me to feel more suspense each time something would happen to this character. Because every time the littlest thing happened, I'd be like, oh, this is where character B is going to die.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. Oh, this is where character... Nope.
Nah.
And then it kept going until literally the second last episode. So I'm not really sure what the Uber driver from hell was thinking.
So the Uber driver from hell was definitely not thinking that deeply. He just said the spoiler.
I don't know why.
but
I still... It's the dumbest spoiler I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest things that happened in the show. But the thing is, it ruined the experience because this is exactly what I told Jen.
Because I wasn't open-minded.
Yeah,
I just thought they were going to die every time.
Exactly. You went like, oh my god. The suspense was gone because you're like, this is where this person will die.
And it was when character B finally died, it was actually such a pivotal moment in the show and such a moving moment.
Yeah.
I was watching with Caitlin and she shed a few tears because she gets into it when watching things.
Yeah.
I rarely do, but can. But
you don't have to justify.
I'm just building it up.
Okay.
I'm telling the situation. So, I rarely would, but I have very minimal times in the past. But because of the spoiler and the up and down of the emotions and no suspense, when it finally happened, I didn't feel anything towards it, even though character B was actually my favorite character. So it's
my favorite character
very
as well.
strange. Or maybe second... Anyway, one of the top characters.
Yeah, when we actually talk about the show openly, we'll talk about the characters properly. Maybe not on the podcast.
Yeah, so it was just such a weird spoiler.
Yeah.
It really was. But I gotta say, that's, I guess, a positive, is that it didn't happen the first time.
Yeah.
So then there was, I guess, multiple times it could happen.
Yeah.
So...
And that was the other thing. That's also what I said to Jen. I was like, because so much happens to this character, I just hope there is some suspense because it's not straight away. So there was a bit saved, which is why I remained silent through whole time period as well.
But I've got to say that when the moment was going to happen, I actually foresaw it happening.
See, it's spoiled. It was spoiled. I did not see it happening.
I literally called it about maybe a minute before it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I knew the character that killed character B.
Yeah.
I knew what his psychological motive was. I mean, this is kind of weird to be talking about because no one can actually... No one actually knows what show we're talking about.
Yeah. Look, you can, if you really want to know... and reckon you've seen every show in the world and you can't possibly get spoiled, send us a personal message on the So Far So Good podcast Instagram.
Yep.
And we'll tell you the show, but be prepared.
Honestly, if you think you've watched the show, I'll give a very slight hint. It won't give away the show.
I don't know, are you sure?
It won't give away the show.
Alright, okay.
It's on Netflix.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? That doesn't give it away too much, but at least it narrows it down a bit.
If
you think you've watched the show or you just want to know, send us a message on Instagram at So Far So Good Podcast. We'll let you know because we want people to understand the situation. It's really hard to understand the situation without knowing the show and the characters.
It's true. So, all the best. And I'm glad it minimally worked out for you, but
very minimal.
Still bad spoiler.
Very minimal.
Yeah.
But moving on, I do have a little update with the letter that I sent to the council about the local basketball ring that is 7 centimetres too high.
Yes, to Sarah Council.
Yeah. So we sent it to Sarah Council. As we know that 7 centimetres too high, it's ruining, childhoods out there, Yeah. People are not going to become professional sports players if they're 7 centimetres off.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And we're not talking about the athlete's height, we're talking about the basketball.
Well, I was going to say, imagine long jump. If you're 7 centimetres short, that's a big distance.
That's a major distance.
Huge.
You probably won't make the Olympics with that much of a margin.
Huge. Yeah. If you're doing the 100-metre sprint, if you're 7 seconds short...
That's only 93 centimetres. No. 900.
They run it in about 9 or 10 seconds. So if you're 7 seconds short, you're only a third way through the run.
Wow.
So
that's major. That's you've really jumped this. You've jumped it.
So what I'm saying is, it's major.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we spoke, I believe, last episode that I got an email back and they referred it to the, I believe, customer service team.
Okay.
Now, after that email, I got a call on my mobile the next day.
Did you leave your phone number?
Absolutely.
Oh my god, I'm shocked to the core.
Yep.
Well, this is actually a question I had for a while. How did you know what to do? Did you just like Google Sarah Council and then send it to Council X?
I went to the website, clicked contact us, found the email, sent it.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward actually. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of common sense.
So were you nervous one-on-one talking?
Well, I was actually at work when I answered the phone. I said, hello, Chris, and then they said blah, blah, blah from the council. And I said, oh, I'm just at work. Let me jump out the back.
All right.
I had to take the call. It's a very important call.
It's important, yeah, for the young athletes coming up.
Absolutely. Now, it may ruin the climax, but I'll just explain what happened.
Okay.
So Sarah called me.
Was it a Sarah or a John?
Nah, I actually can't remember what their name was.
Okay.
But they called me, and they basically said, yeah, I'm just calling in regards to the basketball court that's 7 centimeters off.
Oh, salty.
And I said, yeah, sweet. No, she was quite nice.
Okay.
Quite nice about it. But she said, look, to be honest, because it's not a competition ring, it's just a leisure ring, it's just too costly, too time consuming to actually go and get that fixed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But as an alternative, there is another basketball court on the other side of the lake in this location, blah, 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 which you can go to. And I said, oh, does that one have lights? And she's like, oh, I'm not quite sure. And in my mind, I'm like, well, you don't know your council very well. But I was nice about it. I was like, yeah, look, fair enough. I do understand. It's not competition. It's just leisure. So I just thought I'd give it a try. But thanks for your time anyway. Not really much else we can do, unfortunately.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what I might do is I might actually hire an excavator, drive it to this court, and I think maybe the best option is just to whack down on the pole as hard as possible.
No, that'll ruin the structural integrity. I'm telling you, all you need to do is unscrew the backboard, lower the backboard 7 centimeters, and then drill it back into the pole.
Depends on how big the holes are.
That's true, and it's
7
metal.
Centimeters, it's getting a bit close to the other hole, you know, in case of a slight mistake.
Well, that's definitely easier and cheaper than hiring an excavator. I'm actually down to do it.
Actually, I know a guy that owns an excavator, but he's on the other side of the city. So, how much would it cost to drive an excavator?
I don't think his excavator idea is going to work properly. How are you going to measure 7 centimeters exactly?
You just smash it down a little bit, then you check the height a little bit more.
But what if it goes too far down?
Oh, well then I'll be dunking all day long.
Yeah, fair call. Look, I'm very surprised that they called back. If that was me, I would have been nervous on the phone because it's such a... Look, I know we made a big deal out of it, but it's such a minor issue. Is it? I'm so surprised.
Are you joking?
They actually called back.
The kids, the youth, Generation
I know.
Z.
I wrote it in my letter.
Or we might be back up to Generation A now.
Yeah, I don't know why they started at X. That's always the question I've had. Why start at X when there's definitely going to be some more generations?
So then, when X, Y, Z, it's probably Generation A again.
X, Y, Z, millennials.
Millennials?
So baby boomers, X, Y, Z, millennials.
Millennial is like our age, and then Z is the newer ones.
Z is after millennials?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't want
And then I believe it'll go back to A. So let's say Generation A, they're going to... Anyone that grows up in that area...
Yeah.
When they go to play an actual game, they will just not be good at basketball.
Yeah, A's pushing it, man. I'd even see Generation Z. They're pretty young right now.
Yeah.
Gen Z. Oof, well.
But Gen Z, because they've been using it, they're already a lost cause. Yeah. Whereas if we smash it down now, get it to the right height, Generation A could grow up to be lit. Yeah,
look, one more option, easy option, a little bit pricey, is get enough concrete to heighten the floor by 7 centimeters.
Heighten the floor?
Yeah. So put all... Because it's an outdoor court, right?
Saying. Yeah.
Just put that much concrete on it and then make sure it's 7 centimeters tall.
I like the idea, but the issue is it then goes straight to grass. So it could be a fair drop to the grass.
It would.
Like it could twist an ankle or something.
It's got to be a good player.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right.
It's all right.
I'd rather have a twisted ankle than be shooting on a wrong size ring for my entire life.
Totally not.
Nah, because you can heal an ankle. You can't heal 20 years of shooting on the wrong size ring.
Yeah, he feels very strongly about this, and I support you no matter what. No matter what. Even though I make fun of you.
Thank you very much.
Now, moving on. Recently, you did something to me that I didn't know still existed.
Really?
It's not a bad thing. It may not be a good thing.
It's obviously a bad thing.
No. It could be mixed feelings. I mean, okay. I enjoyed it the first time, and then I was like, I thought this was over. Okay, now without keeping the suspense any longer, you sent me a poke on Facebook. I didn't even know they still existed.
Yeah, well, I didn't either. I actually got randomly poked.
Ah.
So when I went to poke back, it showed me all the people that I had outstanding pokes against.
Yeah.
On Facebook, by the way.
I had a lot of outstanding pokes as well.
Did you go ahead and poke people?
No.
Really?
I'll tell you what happened. I got a notification, and there was something next to that notification, so I could only see half the notification, and it said, Christopher Coombs, something poke. And then I thought it cut off there, and I thought you added me to like a Pokemon group. So then I clicked the notification, saw you at the top of the poke list, and there was like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 people below who I haven't poked back for about 7 years. No joke, no exaggeration, 7 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So I poked you back, and then I'd say an hour later, you poked me again. And I'm like, okay, this whole poke war thing has begun again, so I'll poke you back.
Yeah, to be honest, I was into it, and then after about 3 or 4 pokes, I was like, I'm over this already.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. This is where you stitched me up, okay? Because after you poked me back the second time, I poked you back almost straight away. And then I got a notification straight away that you poked me back. And I'm already on the page, so I'm like, yeah, I'll poke you back now. And it was like an instant poke war, and I was like, all right, it's on. 2 or 3 times, I would poke you, refresh. You had poked me back already, and I'd poke you again.
Really?
Refresh. You would poke me back, and I'd poke you again. That happened 2 or 3 times. That must have been when you were over it, because I was in such a rhythm that I refreshed, poked you back, but you didn't poke me. So I poked some random person back from 8 years ago.
Accidentally,
who I don't even actually know. I don't even know who this person is anymore.
Really?
I must have known him back then. So
what's their name?
I've forgotten. I didn't care. I couldn't even go back because once you poke them, it goes away.
Right. Okay. So did they poke you back?
No, thank goodness. It's been almost a week, or I don't know, a few days.
Yeah, they might think you were hitting on them.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Because that's what it was back in the day.
Yeah, it was
you just go and poke all the girls just to slide into the DMs.
Yeah, that was the equivalent last time. Yeah. I used to be in a lot of poke wars. Yeah, with a lot of people.
Yeah, found many girlfriends that way.
Foolproof lead.
Poking used to be like the Tinder of the 2000 and zeros.
The
2000s?
The 2010s.
10s? Nah. The 10s was Tinder, like the last 5 years.
You're right.
Like before 2010.
It was in between 2005 to 2014, I'd say, max.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, max 14. Yeah. Well, if it still exists, so if you find it somehow, then go for your poke wars.
Yeah, get poking.
Yeah.
It works better than Tinder.
Yeah, and
it does.
Using Chris's ideology, if someone asks, why did you poke me? You say, before the swipe, there was the poke. Referring to Tinder.
Yeah.
And that's a good, feel free, I'm not going to trademark that line. Feel free to use it. Copyright free, royalty free. Use that line as much as you want.
Absolutely. Make it a trending hashtag.
Yeah, we can bring back old trends. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Now, once again, Chris Coombs, you have amused me in these last 2 weeks. You know exactly what I'm talking about because I told you I'll be telling the story.
Absolutely.
So, I'll give you an opportunity here. If you want to start off the story, I will let you. Or I can take it all from my perspective because it was quite amusing.
I can start it off just to give a bit of
give a backstory.
Bit of context, backstory, yeah. And then I'll let you, and I'll see what you've got to say.
I'll allow this.
All right. So in a normal circumstance, I would go to, let's say, Safeway or Coles, and I would buy the 2-minute noodles.
Yep.
But the Maggie brand.
Yeah, like
so that's Maggie.
100%.
Because now I don't normally buy the cup noodles. I sometimes do.
Yeah.
But I like the bag noodles, like the packet ones.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I thought I was at Aldi one day and I was just buying whatever and I realized I ran out of noodles. So
Okay.
I thought, I'll buy the Aldi version of the noodles.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, most things from Aldi that I've had are the same quality.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people think, it's, not as good, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, some things, yes, but majority is actually quite decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a better price.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I thought I would give these Aldi 2-minute noodles a go.
Okay. What flavour?
Chicken flavour.
Okay.
Like just the normal green packet chicken flavour. So I thought I'd give them a go. Bought a few. Actually, it was at the time in ISO when they were limiting how much you could buy. So I bought 2 big packets, 5 packets in each. So I had basically 10 packets altogether.
Yeah.
5 times 2 is 10.
Oh my, he's quick maths. He went to school, guys.
All right, I'll let you take it from your perspective from here.
Okay, so Chris is telling me the story over our chat, and I'm like, okay, yeah, where's this going? He's realised that these Aldi noodles are just as good as Maggie noodles. It's going to be something along these lines. And then he goes, man, so I made these noodles, I did everything, and they were absolute trash. And I'm like, what? Dude, I've had these noodles before.
Yep.
I've had them with you before. You've definitely had them before. And he's like, nah, man. I was like, what was wrong with it? He's like, there was just no flavour.
Specifically no flavour, and it just tasted like cardboard. Like, it tasted like nothing.
This is exactly what he was telling me. Specifically, no flavour. And I'm like, I didn't make it sound like it, but it's actually deep down really sad for you because I have had these noodles many times and they taste fine, just as good as Maggie, the legitimate brand one. And I'm like, dude, do you think you got a bad batch? Do you think, maybe that one was just like, maybe there wasn't enough flavor in the packet, just a dodgy pack? I was like, try making another one and see how you go. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, I might just throw it out. I'm like, no, don't throw it out. Like, I'm sure it'll be fine. I had faith in these noodles, man, because I've had them before. So I did think about it, I did. This is in a time span of about 2 weeks. I did think about it here and there over these 2 weeks. Then I'm back on this chat. Let's say a week and a half later. And then Chris goes, oh man, so I made these noodles again. I'm like, oh yeah. So what, do you reckon it was a bad batch or is it good? He's like, no. It tasted fine. It wasn't as good as Maggie, but I could taste the difference, but it tasted all right.
Specifically, I said it was edible this time, but still not as good as Maggie.
He's really not giving it any credit, but
continue.
Pretty much he had resolved his issue, and I'm like, I'm thinking it's either I was right about the dodgy batch, there wasn't enough flavor in the pack, or he's done something different. So I'm like, dude, how did you fix it? Did you do something different? He tells me. He goes, yeah, I put the flavour in before I washed out the noodles. He said he drained the noodles first and then put the flavour in, which means the first time he made it, he drained all the flavour out, blaming the noodles that the noodles weren't as good as Maggie. And then, oh man, how do you make that mistake?
All right, I have a defence, which I explained to you. So, like, sometimes you don't cook 2-minute noodles exactly the same every time. I don't know. Sometimes I put the flavouring in when at the start, or sometimes I put the flavouring in at the end, right?
Okay.
With Maggie, it doesn't matter when you put the flavour in because it's always amazing.
Wait.
Now, I'm not sponsored by Maggie. Just keep that in mind.
What? But the thing is, if you put the flavour in the noodles with the water, because some people like it as a noodle soup kind of thing, then that's obvious. You've got to put the flavour in.
Yep.
But you're saying you'll put the flavour in the Maggie noodles and drain it out, and it'll still taste flavoursome.
Yep.
That does not make any sense to me.
Yeah, because it soaks into the water and the noodles. So you're still getting the flavour soaked into the noodles, right? But with the Aldi ones, clearly it just doesn't soak in whatsoever, right? So what I did was I heated them up with the water, blah, 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 drained the water, put the noodles in the bowl, then I put the Aldi flavouring into it.
Okay.
Then what I do then is I add a little bit more water just so I can actually mix it so it's not dry.
Yeah.
Mix it around, and it was edible. It was edible. But what I'm saying is it's nowhere near the quality of Maggi.
Okay, that may be the case. It's fine. But surely when you were draining out the water, you thought, I'm draining out some flavour here.
Yes, I know that. I've cooked it like that many times with Maggi, and it's still been top notch.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. It's just so funny. You were complaining about there not being enough flavour, yet you drained out all the flavour, and you were bad mouthing the Aldi noodles. They are good, I'm telling you.
Look, I challenge everyone listening to go buy a packet of Maggi, buy a packet of Aldi chicken noodles. Tell me which one's better. Out of 10.
No.
I need a rating out of 10 though. So let's say we'll put Maggi as 10.
Okay.
Then for the Aldi ones, I'll give it, maybe 5 or 6.
See,
they're pretty rubbish.
I'll give Maggi a 10 because that's literally at the top of the chain.
Yep.
But I'm going to give Aldi a 9.
Nah, no way.
It's
no possible way.
Next time, what I'll do is I'll come over and I'll make your noodles for you.
Aldi ones?
Yeah.
Well, I've actually got a bit of a ending to this story.
Okay.
Since then.
Tell me.
Which you don't know.
I don't.
So, I had... so, as I said, I had the 10 packets, right?
Yeah.
So, I cooked the first 2.
You were willing to chuck out all 10 packets, right?
Well, I had the first 2, so I had 8 left, and I was willing to chuck those out.
Yeah.
But I decided, you know what, I'll give it another go.
Yeah.
And I'll put the flavouring in after I drain the water, specifically.
Okay.
Because of the bad quality that it's just not soaking into the noodles.
Okay.
Anyway, so I tried that, and I was like, look, it's okay. Like, it's edible.
Yeah.
So, I then had 6 left. I kept those 6, and then I think it was a couple days ago. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
I came home from work, and then I was going to go play basketball. I needed a quick fix.
Yeah.
So I went for the noodles again.
Okay.
Had another 2.
Yeah.
And it hit me even worse again.
Oh, come on. You need a quick fix, and 2 noodles didn't hit the spot.
It's the Aldi noodles, I'm telling you. So it didn't hit the right spot again. And I actually kind of felt a bit sick afterwards. Like, it's just, they're not good noodles.
Did you make it differently this time, or was it the same time as the second time?
Yeah, same as the second time. So with the flavouring afterwards. So then I had those 2. So then I had 4 left.
Yeah.
Now...
It sounds like that riddle, there's, 10 ducks on the fence, something, and then it goes all the way down to 1. I forgot the riddle, rhyme, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know the rhyme. Now, I went to the shops yesterday to do my grocery shopping. Okay. And I walked past the big box of mee goreng noodles.
Yes.
You know those the shops?
Indomie brand, the legitimate
Yeah. So
mee
you
goreng
walk
one.
past fruit shops and things like that.
Yeah.
And they all sell mee goreng for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's a vital ingredient.
Yeah.
It's a vital product.
Yeah. You buy your apples, your bananas, and your mee goreng. It's a combination.
Exactly, yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I'm going to buy a box of those. I haven't had mee goreng for quite a while.
It's been a long time for me too, yeah.
And just quickly on the mee goreng as well, that box of 40 packets used to cost me $10.
Yep, I remember the days.
Yep. The price has inflated big time.
What's it now?
They're now 18. 1-8.
That's
18.
Almost double.
Almost.
We used to buy those $10 boxes all the time back in high school, uni
100%.
days. It's
a 180% increase. So that's...
No, that's just an 80% increase.
No, 180% increce.
100%. Oh, yeah, because 1.5. Yeah, well, I don't know. 80%, I don't know how it works.
Maybe.
I think it's just 80%.
Anyway,
if it was 100, yeah, whatever.
It's 180% of what it used to cost.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. It's
it's an 80% increase, making the total now 180%. That's what it is.
Okay, I like it. He went to school, guys. He went to school.
So yeah, they're now $18.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's for 40 packets though.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite a lot.
It's still a decent fair price.
It makes it... Let me do some quick maths. I'm going to need a calculator for this one.
Like
so
10?
let's say $18 divided by 40 packets, 45 cents each.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the Maggi noodles, for example, they're up towards almost $1 each.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you're looking at half the price with... Migraine noodles are pretty good.
Yeah. Definitely the top of the 2-minute noodle chain.
Yeah. So, anyway. So, I got those.
Yeah.
And then I got home, and I was putting the noodles on the shelf. Took up, like, the entire shelf because it's 40 packets.
Yeah.
But anyway. I then realised, you know what? I don't have space for these 4 Aldi noodle packets anymore. I'm chucking them out.
No
I chucked them in the
way.
bin with great satisfaction.
I would have taken them off your hands for free.
Nah,
And made
no
you-
one. Honestly, I would not pay someone to eat those noodles.
No, I wouldn't want to eat them. I would have made it for you to prove that it's fine.
Well, unfortunately, we can't do that anymore.
I'll tell you what. I figured out a theory on why this has happened, and it's in the wordings that you have said. So you can't really deny it, but it's not an attack at you. It's just a theory.
All right.
You said when you make the Maggi noodles, you feel that the water and the noodles soak up the flavor.
That's right.
Okay, and what soaks up things? Sponges. So if
Water.
sponges soak up water, right? Like
Yeah,
it holds
yeah.
in the water. So you're saying
Yeah.
the noodles have held in that flavor. Now, if you cook the noodles long enough, they get very soft, which make them a bit more spongy, which make them a bit more absorbent. So maybe when you cook the Maggi noodles for 2 minutes, it reaches that optimal, what do you call it? Tension? That optimal softness
Yeah.
to absorb. But maybe with the Aldi noodles, you're cooking it for 2 minutes, but maybe you need to cook it for an extra 30 seconds to a minute to be a bit more soft and absorbent to absorb that flavor. Which you didn't try.
I like your scientific analysis,
Thank you.
but the issue is I never time it for 2 minutes. I just chuck it on, stir it, whatever.
Oh,
it
yeah,
probably cooks for like 5 minutes, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Okay. See,
So I wouldn't count that.
I time it for 2 minutes, or like around 2 or 3 minutes, because when it gets too soft, I hate it. I hate it when it's super soft.
Really?
I like it a bit, the slightest bit chewy.
Really?
Chewy / hard, yeah.
That's interesting.
Because when it's soft, it just breaks apart in your mouth. Now, I don't get to bite anything or chew anything.
But it's a nice, it's nice when it's smooth and you can just freely bite it without having to crunch.
Not like, I don't mean raw, where it's crispy and crunchy.
You know those kids in high school that would bring a 2 minute packet of noodles and eat it raw?
Put the flavor on it raw. Dude, you should have tried that. That's a method you didn't try.
Yeah, well, I think it's the noodle. Honestly, I think it's the noodles themselves.
The noodle
I think
quality?
They're just crappy quality. They're just cardboard noodles.
Not
absolute
cardboard,
rubbish.
but doable. Guys, I urge you to try both Maggi and what's that? I forgot the Aldi brand.
Aldi brand.
Aldi brand. I reckon there's not going to be a major difference in experience and taste. Yes, they may taste different, but they are both chicken flavor. But we're not comparing flavor. We're comparing taste and experience in general. So yes, the Aldi noodles tasted nice and there was enough flavor. Yes, the Maggi noodles tasted nice and there's enough flavor. So give it a shot. Don't throw it in the bin like Christopher Coombs here. But by all means, buy 40 packs of Mega Ring.
I mean, he makes a good point, but I got to say, there's certain things in life that you need the proper name brand. Certain things in life.
I will definitely agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. I mean, yeah.
Like my car. I bought a Toyota.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a toy car, am I?
Exactly. I was just going to say, you bought a Toyota, not a toy Toyota. So
Yeah, that's
it's a
right.
win-win. It's a win-win.
Now, I would say that that's enough for today's episode, but there's a story that we've been meaning to tell, and I want to chuck it in as a bit of a bonus. So this episode's going to go for a bit longer,
All right.
and we just need to talk about this story.
All right.
It's been lingering for long enough that it needs to be said.
All right.
All right, now this is a story that it's actually somewhat tragic,
Yeah.
but
true.
no one was hurt in the process,
Yep.
so it's not tragic.
It's still a bit tragic.
All right, so the story is, it was, I believe, Christmas Eve
Yep.
one day. Maybe 2 years ago? 3 years ago even?
Yep.
Something like that. I was in my room. I was going out. Got in my car. Literally drove out of my driveway, turned left, and then I noticed all this smoke in the air.
Yeah.
And it was kind of smoking like above my car.
Yeah.
And I stopped to look at my house.
Yeah.
And it was clearly a fire. Like
Yeah.
there was like deep black smoke coming up through the air.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was in my backyard.
Oh,
so I
wow.
was like, holy crap. Reversed the car, parked it. I really should have just got out. But I reversed it back into parking position. Anyway, that's beside the point. And then I could actually see, once I got out of the car and walked back towards my house, I could actually see that it wasn't my backyard or anything. It was actually the house behind. Like you could actually see smoke coming out of the roof of the house behind mine.
Yeah.
Now, they don't have a chimney or anything like that. So there was clearly a fire.
Yeah.
So I walked back through the house and then walked out my back door. And as soon as I opened that back door, you could just smell it. Like it was the strongest smell you've ever had in your life, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, walk through, and then I look over the fence, and I tell you what, the house was full blown on fire. Like this is the house behind mine.
Right behind, yeah. So it would have been scary thinking it could pass through.
And the house was like the backyard wasn't massive.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking average size backyard, if not smaller than average.
Yeah.
So it was actually quite close to the fence where I was standing.
Okay.
I then saw, for some reason, to the left, there was a guy sitting on the fence of, like, the neighbor to the left of the house that's on fire.
Okay.
He was just sitting on the fence watching.
Okay.
Anyway, I think he was drunk. Because he was yelling out some weird stuff. But
okay.
Yeah, so we saw the house, like, full on fire. And then in the driveway was the lady that owns the house.
Yeah.
Like, it was a husband and wife. The lady was standing in the driveway with just a towel around her. So it was just weird.
Yeah.
The whole situation was weird.
Yeah.
But you could literally see the smoke coming through the roof, and like tiles were popping off.
Oh, wow.
So you could see into the roof. You could also see the room that was like facing our house from the back. That room, like the curtains were on fire and everything. It was absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, the fire brigade finally rocked up and did their work, and we were just kind of watching the whole time.
Yeah.
You know when it's like something tragic and you just like it's interesting to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can't do anything except for look at it in amazement.
And like, you know, it's not like you don't care, but it's like, I don't know, when something goes wrong, it's always trying to say this without sounding like a terrible person, but let's be real. It's somewhat exciting.
I know what you mean.
It's wrong.
Like when you see like someone get pulled over by the cops, you always want to have a look at what's going on.
Because it's something different. It's exciting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So we were watching them put the fire out and all that stuff. And then they finally put it out, but they needed to... It was something like... they had to put like plastic across the entire roof.
Yeah. Just
in case like in a few days' time, if the wind picks up, the fire could still pick up.
Yeah.
Apparently, because that's what one of the fire brigade persons was saying. Fireman? Yeah,
fireman.
So that's an interesting fact as well.
Yeah.
So apparently a house, like once the fire's out, a couple of days later, if the wind picks up, it could actually relight the fire. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know, do you?
Very freaky. So... they were working the whole afternoon to put plastic like over the roof and all that kind of stuff, which was crazy. Anyway, the guy to the left that was sitting on that fence, he was just yelling stuff out at the fireman, and he's like, "Oh, look, there's still fire going through the roof. Make sure you get that."
One
bit.
of those.
Like he was, idiot.
Yeah,
like let them do their job.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man, you just sat on the fence the whole time, being unsure about something. Yeah,
exactly. So it was quite crazy. Like half the house was fairly burnt.
Yeah.
Anyway, a week later, me and my brother were just in my backyard.
Yeah.
And we thought, and we kind of just looked over to see like how the house was going.
Yeah.
And we thought, let's just jump over and have a bit of a look.
Yeah, yeah.
So we jumped over into the backyard, and you could see inside that everything was burnt. Like the couch was still there, but half of it was completely burnt, and you could just see like the wood.
Yeah.
Like the kitchen was absolutely destroyed. We didn't like walk inside because I mean, like it could collapse at any time.
Yeah, of course.
So we're kind of just looking from the backyard, like looking in it wasn't even a door anymore. Like the door and the window and everything had fully come off, so you could easily see inside.
Yeah.
You could see up into the roof, man. You could see all the what's
Like
that stuff?
The structure, the insulation.
Insulation. Yeah, you could see all that stuff. That was still there.
Oh, wow.
So that I don't think that stuff really burns because you could still see that.
That's interesting.
But yeah, the craziest thing is like the fire was so strong that the entire roof and the tiles on the roof were actually on fire. Like, it was just so crazy. You don't expect that to ever happen.
That's
but anyway,
next level.
So we found out a bit later that the reason that the wife was in the front yard in just a towel, so she put something on the stove to cook, and then in the meantime, she went and had a shower. So then she obviously noticed the fire whilst in the shower. Yeah. Just ran out in the towel.
Yeah.
And that was it. So it's a bit of a lesson learned. Like maybe
don't make your 2-minute noodles and then have a shower.
Maybe just beware of your cooking.
I was over at yours one time. You told me about the whole fire. I looked over and there was just a blown up lawnmower because the house had now been demolished. They'd taken it. And then there was just tall grass in spots. And then there was just a blown up lawnmower. I'm like, dude, they've got to take the lawnmower.
Yeah, and do you know the story about that lawnmower?
Yeah, you actually told me. I can tell everyone.
Yeah. So about 2 or 3 weeks later, the same thing happened. I walked outside and I could smell smoke. And I thought, what the hell is happening? This house is already burnt down. But this is not like the fire's relighted. Like, it can't be.
Yeah.
Because it was, it could have even been a month later. Like, it was a fair time later.
Because the house was gone by this point. Like, they had demolished it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Actually, the house was completely demolished. So it would have been months because that house stayed like that for quite a while.
Yeah.
So it was definitely months, man. Like, let's say 6 months later even.
Okay.
Like, it was quite a while.
Yeah.
3 to 6 months, something like that. Anyway, the same thing happened. I could smell smoke. Clearly wasn't my backyard because it was a bit further out. Anyway, walked down, looked over the fence, and there was nothing there apart from a lawnmower, a shed, and the lawnmower was just sitting there on fire. I don't know how. It's the biggest mystery.
Was there a person manning the lawnmower?
No, there was no one there.
Oh my god!
Like the house at the front yard had like a fence around it, like as in like it's a crime scene, like you can't go here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, the house was gone. So it was literally just burnt grass and concrete and dirt.
Yeah.
And then there's just a lawnmower in the middle of the yard sitting there on fire.
So did someone put it out?
Well, I can't remember what happened. I actually can't remember what happened. But I just remember seeing that and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, yeah.
I believe someone came. Actually, I think the owner of the house ended up coming.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe someone alerted him. Maybe one of the next door neighbours alerted him.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, it got put out. And then, a couple of days later, you just look over the fence and there's just a half-burnt lawnmower sitting on this patch of land with nothing else there.
Nothing around it,
burnt
grass, burnt land.
It was just the weirdest thing. But the garage at the very back was still there.
Yeah.
But that was it. So it's just the weirdest thing ever. And then, so basically this whole land was completely free for quite a while, maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
And when the house wasn't there, you could actually see the mountains from my backyard.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember telling people every time they'd come over to the house, be like, oh, look at the backyard, like, look at the mountain views.
Yeah.
Like, we should sell this house and advertise it as mountain views.
Yeah, it didn't last too long, did it?
Yeah, that's right. But the good thing was, it actually... when there was nothing there, everything was gone. That was actually the time that I bought my drone.
Yeah.
So I could use that whole land as practice with my drone. Learning how to fly it and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was actually good timing in the end. But there was a good 6 months to a year where nothing happened at all, and we were kind of wondering what is happening with this land. Anyway, turns out that there was like a bit of a dispute with the insurance company.
Okay.
I believe they do some serious investigation because I did see a couple guys with suits walk around the burnt down house like a few weeks later.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of investigation to make sure it wasn't burnt down on purpose, I guess.
Yeah.
But now they've got such a bigger house, modern house, looks really nice. The backyard's all done up and everything. So that's why I was kind of saying that it's tragic in a way.
Yeah.
But it's also they got a better house out of it, I guess.
Yeah. No one was injured as well. So, and I'm sure they got a new lawnmower too. So,
Well, you would hope so.
you'd hope so. I mean, yeah. I just remember the lawnmower. Fascinating story all around. I'm glad everyone's safe, but
Yeah, it's just such a crazy story. Like you never would think that would happen, would you?
yeah, so close, such close proximity as well. You'd just be scared it would pass through.
And we were just standing on the other side of the fence, like ready that if it kind of spreads a bit further in the backyard,
Yeah,
get the hose out. Not that it will do too much.
Not too much, exactly. Well, look, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this week on the So Far So Good podcast.
Yeah, it was good having you, as usual, on this Monday or whatever day you're listening. Any day is a good day on the So Far So Good podcast, and I hope you enjoyed that bonus story. We've been meaning to tell it for quite a while.
Yeah.
It just felt like a good day to tell it.
Yeah, it did. It's all rebuilt. Everyone's happy, so good time to tell it.
Good times.
But yeah, message us on the So Far So Good podcast Instagram.
Yep, hit us up if you have any questions that you would like us to ask, or if you have any interesting questions that we could discuss. Because some questions that we get asked, we end up discussing for like 20 minutes straight because they can have varying sides. So
exactly,
we actually like the difficult questions. So send them through. We'd love to discuss them on the So Far So Good podcast. But that is all from us for today. Thank you guys once again for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Goodbye. If you find it somehow, bloody bird.
I didn't. I thought I'll try again.
GG.
Oof. Tried to hold that in, but
I could tell that.